Hi, my name is Travis, and we're going to do a little demonstration of how particles move around in air here. I'm standing outside of what we will refer to as James's cubicle because it's James's cubicle. But as we walk over here, we'll go into my office. So this is Travis's office. And then if we back up a little bit and look down this hallway, we can see another office over there. This is Carrie's office. Right? So here we are in Carrie's office. Now here we are in Travis's office. For this game that we're going to play, we need two toys. First toy is this. This is a particulate meter. You can see here it reads PM 2.5, which is particulate matter 2.5 microns and below, and then PM 10, which is sometimes referred to as coarse particulate matter. It's particulate matter 10 micrometers and below. The other toy that we're going to need, where did it go? Here it is an aerosol contaminant. This is my personal favorite aerosol contaminant. We call this Aquanet hairspray. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to spray Aquanet hairspray into the broom here for probably 30, 40 seconds, something like that. We call this an airborne contamination event or aerosol contamination event. And let me tell you, it's contaminated. Now, perfect mixing is a myth, so we're going to have to wait about 3 minutes before we actually see the levels balance out. I've taken some pre-readings before this whole thing began. But we did a heck of a job here. We got ourselves up to 178 and 203 in this office. So now let's see what's going on in James's cubicle, 16 and 22. 001, 005. Drop down a little bit. There's 11 and 16 at James's desk. And here's Carrie's office, showing 4 and 8. I saw a 4 and 8 there. We'll keep that. All right, we're 10 minutes out. I'm showing 1824 in Travis's office. Here's James's desk, 711. And last but not least, Carrie's office, 813. Plotting this data as we go. Here's another reading. We got 1520. Once again at James's desk, I'm at 813. And now we're in Carrie's office. I got a 914. Waited 10 minutes, so I'm at, come on, glare. 1318. Here's James's cubicle, 1217. Carrie's office, we're getting in 1116. Finish the charting and we can have a little bit of a conversation about what this means. First off, this is my office where we had the actual contamination event, and you can see that contamination event in there. But then this is James's cubicle. James's cubicle is about 15 feet away from my office, from my chair to his chair. But you got to go through a door and then walk around a cube wall to get there. The magnitude that we see in James's cube never gets over 10% of the magnitude that we saw in my office. And then Carrie's office, which is the office next door, ultimately her concentration does rise a little bit. It's quite a delay. You can kind of see that, it takes about 10 minutes for that delay to occur. And her levels never get to 5% of the levels that you see in mine. What does all this actually mean? Well, if you're in an open office environment, a contaminant that's being generated in this office, showing up at the cubicle outside the office is not going to show up at a level of more than 10%. I've tried this experiment a couple times, and I can't produce a contamination event that raises James's levels more than 10% of what happens in this office. And in the office next door, it's more like 5%. We can get something to increase, but it's more like 5%. Now, I don't care what contaminant you're dealing with, whether it's a fart or COVID-19, the effect of that contaminant on a human being is going to be radically reduced when you drop it down in order of magnitude or by a factor of 20. Right. The second point of all this is this guy. This is the cheapest particle meter that money can buy. This was $130. I got it on Amazon Prime. It showed up on my doorstep the next day. My other engineers bought some more elaborate particle meters. They can do 0.1 micron particles and 0.3 micron particles. But this guy actually holds up in terms of the results that it shows. And I think that's super important. For $130 and the price of a can of hairspray, we don't need to have opinions about what's going on with particles in spaces. We can measure what's going on with particles in spaces. And I think this is just the time for that. With all the fear that's going on related to COVID-19 and, oh, can it spread over here? Can it spread over here? I've told my engineers that you're not allowed to have opinions about how particles move around in spaces. You are only allowed to have measurements about how particles are actually moving around in spaces.